Oh God! Look at Hairbrain's eyes.
Yeah, he's an evil anime character for sure.
He's got evil anime eyes up there.
That's when Professor Hairbrain laser beamed everyone in the crowd.
It's just like that Homelander bit.
He didn't invent instantaneous kinesis. He invented laser eyes.
He invented laser eyes.
It's tantamount to declaring war on the entire British police force and judiciary.
And goth community.
Quite hard to imagine any sum of money being offered for research can warrant it. To rely on some stage deception when so much is at stake would be madness.
Well, I suppose.
And this was no petty crime either. The victim was murdered. A man who'd already invested money in the venture and would be instrumental in future profits too. Yes, I had no reason to kill Mr.
Oh, dude,
Assman
please let us go after what your motive would be, because we already know it, and I will bury you.
I will bury you.
Well, I don't care about that because I'm good at... I dig up graves, so...
If you bury me, I'll just...
Dig myself up?
Dig myself
out. Got him.
Or are you forgetting that his death results in me not receiving a single penny? The court is already aware of the contract between myself and the victim. No. There is the contract. That's very true.
The motive for this case runs deep, though. I can feel it. I'm really feeling it.
Using... Shulk? Using threats to force the head of the forensic investigation team to cooperate is extreme.
Monado law! Is that anything?
Objection arts!
No, I appreciate it, nonetheless.
Especially for a government grant he had no guarantee of receiving in the first place.
If the research grant was the aim, taking Mr. Assman's life would have made no sense anyway. Which means Mr. Drebber's motive wasn't money at all. He was just trying to kill Mr. Assman.
He was just trying to murk the dude. Sometimes it just be like that.
Why? What was his motive then?
Your time is up, my learned friend.
Well, it feels like most people would have already figured this out by now, so...
I'd say you have one last chance before the jury lose their patience with this charade. Yeah, I'm almost out of corn, so can we hurry this up? Let's see if you can back up your heady proposal, shall we?
Oh, he did dodge it!
That's
awesome!
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
How do you explain why this engineer would throw all caution to the wind and threaten his own country? At this point, I'm not prepared to listen to more of this outlandish conjecture without proof. So, counsel, present your evidence.
All right. Who exactly was Mr. Assman to Drebber? There's a connection there that no one's seen yet. And I'm going to have to present 2 pieces of evidence to show what it is.
Ooh, 2 pieces of evidence.
I know what they are.
Spicy.
I know what they are.
Is
I
it
mean, one's the
cameras
article.
in the article?
No, I actually didn't realize this until they just showed the document again, but it has Odie Assman's signature, and it's exactly the same.
What document?
Yes, my lord, the contract between the 2 of them.
Oh.
The evidence that establishes a motive and explains why the witness wanted the victim dead is right here. See if you look at this. Oh, Assman. And it has like the same exact like overarching weird.
But is that evidence that? Well, what's that evidence of?
Just that this is the same Assman, I'm sure. Like,
Oh, okay, okay, I gotcha.
It just establishes a connection.
Yeah, it's just proving the signature is valid.
All right, so let's.
I'm like, how? Like, we know that Mr. Aspen's on that contract,
Right,
or that proved,
right.
but no, it's just we have to show the signature. I get it.
It's this newspaper article, my lord.
That was written 10 years ago, and every detail has been examined already. What can it possibly tell us? That drivel should never have been written. It's typical gutter press nonsense that means nothing.
Yes, on its own, it isn't particularly significant. However, when considered alongside another piece of evidence, it will completely explain your motive for wanting Mr. Assman dead.
What other evidence?
Counsel, you will present your supplementary evidence without delay.
No, I don't want to.
The evidence which, when cross-referenced with the newspaper article, establishes a motive for the deed.
I guess when they say cross-reference,
Yeah.
it does become a little clearer.
It's this contract, my lord. Mr. Drebber, this is the contract you signed with Mr. Assman.
Yes, that's right. The very document, in fact. That proves I had no reason to kill the man.
No, I'm afraid not.
What?
There's something very significant that this newspaper article and the contract have in common.
Really?
They're pieces of paper with words on them.
Good Lord!
God, he's right!
Guilty! And it's that common link that shows very clearly why you were determined to kill Mr. Odie Assman.
It seems the defense has uncovered something the rest of us have missed.
Yeah, that actually sums it up.
So, my learned friend, point out what these two pieces of evidence have in common. Where exactly is the link between this newspaper article and the contract?
Okay, it's the name.
It's the name.
What's in a name? These two pieces of evidence have in common is a signature.
A signature?
The old John
The
Hancock.
signature of the illustration that accompanies
Nice.
the 10-year-old article and the signature on the contract belong to the same person.
What? Ah!
As the court has heard, this illustration was drawn 10 years ago by the newspaper reporter who found Mr. Drebber and interviewed him about his ordeal. If you look closely, the reporter's signature can be seen in the bottom right corner of the drawing. And if you look at the contract here, which was signed between the witness and the victim last year, you can clearly see Mr. Assman's signature at the bottom.
Let me see now. Good Lord, yes, they're identical.
In short, the journalist who drew the illustration and wrote the article published about Mr. Drebber 10 years ago was the victim of this case, Mr. Odie Assman.
Ah! Ah!
See on the floor.
But explain to the court why.
Tell me
Why?
why.
Why would that constitute a motive for the witness to murder Assman?
Diego the G-Chair Tippett saying Drebber, window shut down noise. Yeah, if his breakdown was just burr, 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 burr.
Just blue screens.
Well, if you think back, you'll remember that Mr. Drebber talked about that article in his testimony.
Grave robbing, you say?
Yes, exhuming fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative.
That is quite beyond the pale. You would invite divine retribution, sir.
Yes, well, I think I suffered retribution enough. The Daily Circus eventually unearthed my name and put it in print. It caused me a great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave the
I
university.
could have made this a shorter flashback.
That was the only paper with the bad grace to identify me unambiguously, I might add. And then,
It's even
when I
more.
was 5 years old, and then when I was 5 years old, my puppy died.
What?
I never quite got
No.
over it. Then I gave up on my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article.
When I was 5, I had a pillow that I carried everywhere and called it Pillow.
I was creative like that.
At the time, you were a student of the University of London who dreamt of becoming a scientist. However, this single newspaper article changed your entire life.
So, Mr. Assman used to be a newspaper journalist, did he?
He did, my lord. In fact, it's a widely held belief that Assman managed to position himself at the heart of his criminal network, thanks to the many dubious connections he made during his time as reporter.
So you had to give up on your dream and leave university. You lost everything. Eventually, you found yourself working in the field of science, but only in the shadows. And all because of that article, written by Mr. Assman.
Enough! I didn't have anything else to say.
I just didn't want you to keep talking.
Stop this endless drivel about my life.
What?
It's his life. It's now or never.
Explain yourself, Mr. Drebber.
Yes, it's true. I had to leave the university as a result of that article. But it was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
I was always a shitty student.
What do you,
They were gonna kick me out anyway because I sucked.
what do you mean?
Almost every student of science in the faculty was too poor to actually conduct any research. But they struggled on with their hypotheses anyway. We all did, only to have them taken by vultures. Sooner or later, you knew your ideas would be stolen and patented by some wretch or other, after all.
Good gracious.
Making a name for yourself as a scientist in a climate like that was a miracle only a select few geniuses could ever hope to achieve. Personally, I wasn't one of those geniuses, so it was hardly a wrench. Being forced out of the university because of Lowgate was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Mr. Drebber, do you genuinely believe that?
Of course I do. Who's better placed to know whether or not I possess a talent for science than me?
I'm sorry to say that your words don't ring true at all.
How dare you?
Also, Gizmo Dog just also gifted $50. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Saying, hey there.
Gizmo Dog!
I mostly lurk and watch the VODs on YouTube, but genuinely love the content y'all produce. Gonna go back and watch my, go back to my VOD catch-up now. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Gizmo Dog.
Appreciate that.
If you catch up, come back and hang out with us.
Yeah. I have evidence to prove it.
How are you in a position to say anything about me? I don't know you from Adam.
Who's Adam?
Well, my name's Ryan, so...
See, that's proof I don't know you.
Fine. If you think you have evidence, go ahead. Show it. What could you possibly have to disprove the idea that I was happy to leave university because I lacked talent? Oh, the trophy.
This
Easy.
motherfucking
Oh,
science
yeah.
trophy, you idiot.
Oh yeah, he's got a big old trophy that says "I love to do the science."
It says, I love it as
I
science.
have here. I have
I'm a
here the
huge
I love it as science
guy
trophy.
right here.
First place in the I love it as science. It's Enoch Trevor.
Italian.
I have here the first place trophy for the Nerd Awards.
Do you remember this, Mr. Drebber? We found it at your workshop.
That's not mine.
Is that
A Royal Society trophy for excellence in science?
Love it as science?
I've always wanted one of those. I have 5 myself.
what exactly is this trophy, Counsel?
It's the greatest honor that can be bestowed on a young scientist, my lord.
There is no higher accolade. It recognizes emerging talent and promises a bright future.
Okay, well now I do feel a little bit more bad for this guy.
Good
Gracious.
gracious!
Grave
He
robbing.
did some pretty fucked up shit, but... Your prospects for the future were excellent, weren't they, Mr. Drebber? Because even then, you were a genius in your field. But you lost everything. You had no more future. Your talents would go to waste. All as a result of this one newspaper article. I don't know when you realized who Mr. Assman was, but when it dawned on you that he was the same journalist who 10 years ago ruined your life, it's abundantly clear that you had no intention of forgiving the man.
Sad robot.
Sad. The truth is...
Finally, he's going to fold.
That means he's not going to fold.
Yep.
He says, hit me! Wait, it wasn't him then. Who the fuck was it?
Is it Scythe? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Clearly, this has run its course now.
What?
I admit it. All of
Oh, okay,
it.
I thought we were going to have to cross-examine you.
Wait, what?
I thought it was going to be this whole thing.
Yay!
Okay, cool. Thanks. What?
What are you doing?
Is she going? Well, is she going to admit what we need, or some sort of? I'm curious. If
Yeah.
she did or not.
It's exactly as the Japanese man said. I was coerced into going along with this man's plot to murder the victim. On the condition that he kept my dirty secret from 10 years
I bet she's
ago.
not going to tell why she did that 10 years ago now. We're going to have to find about that
Yeah.
in case 5.
In the next episode.
No. Good Lord!
Shoot!
Dr. Scythe, do you realize what you're saying, woman?
It's all true. That day, when I arrived at the Crystal Tower and saw the bird cage, my heart nearly stopped beating.
Chat, I know next case is case 4. I'm just saying, like, next case won't give us the answers either.
That memory from a decade ago that I'd done my best to bury deep inside myself. It was the professor again, staring me in the face. And then, before I had a chance to react, I noticed something else.
Yeah, wait.
That the number on his jacket spelled Leon
God
upside
damn
down. There was a note tucked inside the model's jacket.
Dr.
Oh,
Sithe,
fuck you.
you will go along with my plan. From someone who knows the truth about what really happened that night 10 years ago.
Since I didn't know who sent it, I could only assume their dialect. I picked Swedish. All the instructions were there in the note. Every detail was meticulously written out. I had no choice but to do what it said. I made the necessary alterations to the scene and fabricated the autopsy report as instructed. There was really no other choice. It had to be done to protect the judiciary. I can only apologize now.
Again, genuinely rad that they just were like, nope, we're not gonna do another one. You fucking got me. Okay.
Why on earth would you buckle now? Well, there's no point trying to hide it anymore, is there? I would have done anything to stop it coming out, even collaborate in murder. But the great lie about that execution 10 years ago has been exposed. Whatever happens, I'm finished.
Damn.
So then, Mr. Drebber, what do you say to that? Your accomplice has admitted everything.
And he kind of did too when he said, "Why would you buckle now?"
I mean,
Surely it goes without saying.
you admit your part in it too, then? Nah.
No,
God damn it.
I admit nothing at
You
all.
son of a bitch. What?
Have you forgotten that the kinesis machine was ripped to shreds by an explosion? So, short of me admitting to a crime, there's really no possible way for you to prove I did anything wrong.
No! Damn it. Damn it, chat. I thought it was over.
Order! Order! Order!
Whatever this man says, I admit everything. He threatened to expose my secret, so I went along with his plan. And Lord Van Zeeks,
Yes.
I'm the professor. I killed your brother. Ha 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 ha. Bye.
I hope you'll accept my apologies. What happens next is in your hands, of course.
Hey, like, I'm doing things too.
Shut up. I don't like you. We're not friends.
I have heard more than enough now. I hereby present the final findings to this court. This trial is not the proper forum in which to pursue the alleged wrongdoing.
Whoa, are they actually going to be like,
Whoa.
your client is not
Is a
guilty, but we need to have
Is
another
a court-
trial?
Yeah, is a court admitting that you're not supposed to find other people guilty in a different person's trial? Whoa.
Groundsbreaking.
The defendant is Professor Albert Harebrain.
And he's guilty.
What?
Very true. It had slipped my mind.
Isn't he one of your closest friends?
No, it's an Ace Attorney game. The defendant stops being relevant halfway through the case.
As the court has heard, Dr. Sithe is admitted to the allegations brought by the defense, thereby absolving the defendant of any possible guilt.
You mean...
At the present time, it is the conclusion of this court that the defendant was not involved in any wrongdoing.
Let's fucking go! Biblically
Wow.
accurate courtroom!
Wow, you don't have to
Biblically
prove.
accurate courtroom.
Does the prosecution have any objection?
Get Father Stu in here. It's literally a miracle.
Vinzix, if you object, I'm gonna be... Okay, good.
Objection!
No!
None, my lord.
Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo. You've proven Professor Hairbrain's innocence.
And I had to do it without finding someone else
It's
guilty.
very weird.
Honestly, I don't. Yeah, these are kind of uncharted waters for me. I don't really know
What do
what
I
to
even do
here.
with myself?
Yeah, what do I do with myself?
Without further ado, then, the adjudication. Unless the prosecution or defense have any other matters to discuss.
Nah, fuck this. I'm out.
We out.
Naruhodo out.
I ain't stupid. I take my wins.
I don't know. This doesn't feel quite right. Ryan, shut up.
Ryan, shut the fuck
Why
up.
did Dr. Sithe suddenly admit to it like that? Because she did it.
Is everything all right, Mr. Naruhodo?
Probably because she's like in bed with the most powerful person in like the second most powerful person in the justice system, so she could probably get away with it.
Like you said before, the way the trial is set to end now, the judge will certainly deliver a verdict of not guilty.
But what if he didn't?
But is that really what we want? Maybe we should get him guilty.
Yes. Yes, it is.
yes, that is what we
you
want.
Literal idiot.
God damn it.
Immediate adjudication.
Immediate adjudication. Immediate adjudication.
Immediate adjudication.
Do it!
Learn what your job
Chad
is,
is demanding
Ryan.
it.
Learn your job. Learn your job.
The judge gives his verdict now. Professor Hairbrain will be found not guilty without any doubt.
Yeah, and that's great.
That's great, because
Is-
that's your job.
Is something troubling you, perhaps?
Yes, but it's probably nothing. I left the stove on. In the antechamber during the recess earlier. I did give Mr. Sholmes my word, though, didn't I? Fuck
Who
that.
cares?
I told him I'd
Who
pursue
cares?
any doubts I had
Who
about the
cares?
truth to the absolute last.
No.
Ryan, you suck. Ryan, you suck.
No,
You're the worst.
Don't do it for the himbo.
If you gave Mr. Sholmes your word, then it most certainly isn't nothing. And it means there's only one right answer here.
Yes, you're right.
It's to win the case and go home.
I don't know why I was ever wavering.
This is stupid. I hate this shit.
Wait, he didn't say objection. Or did he?
Yeah, I guess
I didn't hear the
but it
sound
didn't go-
effect.
Objection.
Yeah, okay. That's weird. The defense objects to the trial ending it this time, my lord.
I beg your pardon.
I thought we could just, hang out and swap stories for a little bit longer. We demand one final testimony.
I thought I was going to make it to cheeky Nando's on time. What? You do realize I'm about to adjudicate in favor of your client, I
Wait,
presume?
what?
What are you
Ryan's
playing
the worst
at
character in
now?
the series. Ultimate S-tier character.
What are you playing at now, my Nipponese friend? Why would you want to obstruct the conclusion of the trial at this point? No defense lawyer in his right mind would do
You're
that.
right about that.
Van Zeeks is correct in here, by the way. For all those wondering, Van Zeeks is right. You would have to be a literal idiot to do this.
Mr. Naruhodo, what exactly are you thinking?
The truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. And a way to bring it all out into the open.
Right.
Yes. In hindsight.
Susato just knocks him upside the head and says,
Sorry about that, everyone. We'll
we're
just take
going
the not
home.
guilty now. Thank you.
Yes. One word of warning before I go.
ah, yes, one word of
Fuck.
warning before I go.
If, in the course of the trial this afternoon, you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone.
The worst part is, that's not even what's happening. There's no doubt. They're just going to try Drebber later.
Yeah.
It's not even like he's failing to, like... It's not even like he's letting a guilty guy go free. They're still going to prosecute Drebber just later. Fucking hate this. This is so stupid.
To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter, whatever Pridge says.
You Sholmes. Dick.
I'm sure Mr. Sholmes knew what Pridge really wanted.
That Pridge would hate this.
He must have deduced that this would happen.
He must have known that deep down Pridge really wanted us to keep doing this, right?
Yes, I'm here in court to advocate for my client and to secure an acquittal.
Okay, then yeah, you did it. Go home.
Obviously.
But that's not all. I believe that I have
Yes,
a
it
duty
is.
to the court to pursue
Nope,
the whole truth
true.
of the case until every last detail is laid bare.
Not in the slightest.
And that is why the defense calls for further testimony from Dr. Sithe.
Nope.
Testimony from me? About what?
About the nature of your collaboration with Mr. Enoch Drebber.
In case it's escaped your attention, I've already admitted to everything I did. The whole truth has already been revealed. So stop wasting everyone's time.
You're right, hot lady.
As his lordship made very plain, your client will get the acquittal you wanted for him. There's simply no point protracting this business further with another tedious cross-examination.
We.
Weehaw. Pray forgive my careless handling of that hallowed bottle. I slipped.
That's what you call it?
What is your objection, Lord Van Zeeks?
The prosecution also calls for supplementary testimony from the witness.
I hate all of you.
Don't be stupid!
If there is more to this case than has yet come to light, then I will join my learned friend in pursuing the facts until the bitter end.
You'll what? You'll what, mate?
Lord Van Zeeks.
This is most irregular, to say the least.
This is most stupid.
I'm with Pridge on this one. However, as the prosecution also calls for it, I will uphold the request. Dr. Sithe, you will testify for the court, explaining the full extent of your involvement in the murder apparently committed by Mr. Drebber.
Very well.
Okay. The waxwork plot.
I'd watch
It all
that movie.
began. It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instructions, was beneath the experimentation stage. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately.
That's pretty fucked.
They were all in this. She had her entire entourage on this. I mean,
The
damn.
truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state secret of the highest level. I had to protect it.
So I was right. The stage and the machine were all specifically designed for the deception.
So it seems. And all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy.
Thanks. So kind of you to say.
And what about this autopsy report, then? All I did was record the location of the body as being in the Crystal Tower instead of under the stage.
Huh?
That's all? That's a terrible corruption.
Yeah, no shit. Why do you think I was hiding all this shit?
Only my team were aware of the deceit, and then only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you.
We must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for a cross-examination, I would say.
No.
Why do you think I would have called this thing if I didn't want to cross-examine
Disagree.
about it?
I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Why does her face look like that? Just look at that expression on Dr. Sithe's face. What's wrong with it? It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following testimony.
What is it about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent?
What is it about you English that makes you all so racist?
Very well. If you so desire, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. All began at the scene with the waxwork and the note tucked inside the jacket. Actual body of the victim was beneath the experimentation stage. Yes, we knew that. The body had to be arranged to implicate the defendant, which was my job. I'm curious about what you did to the body. When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this.
Yes, the instructions in the engineer's note said something along the lines of fabricate some evidence to make it clear that Hairbrain alone could have killed Assman.
So, you mean that was your doing?
I fetched Hairbrain's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage and took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen.
Alone, Doctor?
I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception.
Ooh, 3D model space.
There was a void under
Wes,
the stage
come on.
where I found the bird cage lying in the dirt.
Yes, please.
I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it
The
up.
body?
Then I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest.
Okay, that sound effect was a little goofy for that, but sure.
It made a knocking
"Bwah."
sound.
And then you noted in your...
It made the Inception noise?
And then you noted that in your fake autopsy report as a fictitious cause of death.
Exactly.
So, the actual cause of death. So the actual cause of death was...
The trauma resulting from the 30-foot drop.
That'll do it.
My word.
What is it, Miss Usoto?
Something about Dr. Sithe's last statement is playing on my mind, that's all.
Yes, mine too. Dr. Sithe!
There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well.
I also just realized in this moment that Madame Tuspels is no longer here. I don't know when she left, but she is not here anymore.
Peace out. I have better things to do.
The defense calls for you to add what you just said to your formal testimony.
Oh? Which part?
Okay, well.
The part about him dying from the 30-foot drop. What do you think?
Yeah, probably the real cause of death.
I'm gonna guess that it is what she did to the victim.
You racking your brain for that
Maybe.
one? Yeah?
Yeah.
Undo it.
How you stabbed Mr. Assman in the chest. That part.
Fine, if that's what you want. But there's really no point. No need to point.
No point to point.
No point to pointing.
The prosecution concurs.
And also points.
Very well. You will supplement your testimony now, witness.
If you wish, my lord.
So the victim's corpse for
I stood over the victim's corpse where it lay in the toppled cage and plunged the screwdriver into the chest.
Okay. Screwdriver.
That all checks out.
Autopsy report. I mean, this doesn't, because she's just lying about this. Cause, yeah.
Right.
Affected by a sharp implement.
So that we really can't rely on.
Oh, wait. But in the autopsy report, it says the cause of death wasn't the 30-foot drop.
Right. 'cause
Right,
she
but
lied
she's
about
faking
it.
it.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what. Plunge the screwdriver into the No, okay, well, that's fine. So it was you who stabbed Mr. Assman with this!
Yes, far easier than dissection, I assure you.
Sure.
No precision required.
What a welcome change!
The victim died instantly from a snapped neck. All I did was carry out the instructions I'd been given.
As unflinchingly as ever, no doubt. I imagine you didn't bat an eyelid when you drove the weapon into his body.
There was no need to bat my eyelids.
And what else did you do to twist the facts? Remind the court, why don't you?
If you wish.
It's something with that, because we got it new.
Steer the victim's corpse where it lay on the top of cage. Lay on the top of cage and plunge the screwdriver into the chest. I mean, I guess just look at all the evidence. Oh, is it the fact that it was encased? No, it wasn't encased in any glass.
I think I get it. Yeah.
I mean, feel free to enlighten us.
Look at his blood stain.
Yep.
It's
Oh, because it's dripping.
Yeah, it's dripping downwards.
Downwards?
If he was laying on his back.
I mean,
But his
That's-
body
that's
is kind of
super-
arched like that, so
gonna say, he's got
if that's
enough
real,
He's got enough boobage to create.
Yeah.
I do
there.
actually agree. Despite being an ass man, he do have some great boobs, and I.
Yeah, he does have enough boobage to create a slope.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's pretty tenuous at best. They could have made the blood stain like a lot longer, and that I would have been like, oh, look, the blood is like streaking oddly. Why is it doing that?
Yeah.
But like, you could easily just say, oh, it bled a lot and just soaked his
Right,
clothes.
I've got a nasty feeling that this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth. Global warming is real. Isn't that the name of that movie?
That's an
That's
inconvenient
inconvenient.
truth.
Fuck, I'm sorry, Your Honor. My bad. Wrong joke.
We'll have to call Mr. Gore to the stand now.
Oh no, please God, no.
Hey, he
How
invented
dare
the
you fuck up the name of my movie? I'm seriously pissed off at you right now.
What on earth is the matter, Counsel? Have you lost your tongue?
Yes, the cats have stolen it. The evil cats. I apologize, my lord. Dr. Sithe, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point that seems to defy explanation and gravity.
Out with it, my learned friend.
There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph, which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
The court has already examined that photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it.
Yes, we have already considered it, that's true. But we now know the facts to be different.
What do you mean?
I believe we should let the defense cook.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Where in this photograph would we see the alleged inconsistency with the witness's statement?
It's the wound.
It's his boobs.
Look at this man's boobs.
Look closely at the boobs.
Look closely at the rack on the victim's chest. It clearly extends in a downward direction towards the man's feet.
And why is that significant, Counsel?
He needs better support, Your Honor. Mr. Assman's big naturals.
Oh God! Look at Hairbrain's
Eyes, yeah, he's an
up there.
evil anime character for sure.
He's got evil anime eyes up there.
That's when Professor Hairbrain laser beamed everyone in the crowd.
He
No!
didn't
It's just like
invent-
that Homelander
laser
bit.
He didn't invent instantaneous kinesis. He invented laser eyes.
He invented laser eyes.
He became Cyclops, my favorite.
I don't know what
X-Man.
about that.
Canonically, the best X-Men.
No.
Not even close. That dude ain't Omega level.
Unlike
all his
the
siblings,
rest
like-
of his family.
If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Ah, of course, no, that's not what happened.
Exactly, my lord. Dr. Sithe made it very clear in her testimony just now that the point at which she stole Professor Hairbrain's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after the grand deception was set in motion, when the birdcage had fallen below the stage out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear that the birdcage would have fallen on its side after the 30-foot drop. And if the victim had really been stabbed whilst inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions, for it to have formed the longitudinal... Jesus Christ. The longitudinal appearance we see in the picture is inconceivable. Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Assman, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Sithe, your latest testimony was a total fabrication. I knew it. I was right. Now I've identified that contradiction. There is only one way to explain the facts. We've all been under a great misapprehension here.
What? What sort of misapprehension?
Dr. Sithe, you claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Drebber as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie. Because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer.
If that is the case, what is it, man?
Counsel, you've clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. What part of Dr. Sithe's story is shown to be a lie by the contradiction in her testimony?
We know the autopsy
stabbing?
report is,
Yeah, it would be the
so-
stabbing, right? Because that's what we just discovered.
Yeah, we know the
the
autopsy
stabbing
report is
Bullshit.
wrong,
and
and
we know that she was coerced for exactly the reason she said, so yeah, it's gotta be that. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If, when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards as it did, we can be sure that the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time.
But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell
But
beneath
she
the
was
stage.
lying. Yes, it would, which tells us that the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection!
What?
That's impossible! The man was dead, remember?
Oh, because again, I think Ass Man was in on it or something.
No. No, that's the misapprehension.
Yeah, that he wasn't dead yet.
Birdcage fell from the stage into the void below. It must have hit the ground with considerable force. Yeah, that's why it's dented. Oh, he wasn't dead.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, he tried to get out and then she killed him. But Mr. Assman didn't die in the fall. He's like, this sucks. My spine. He probably lost.
This is really hurts. I have taken the big hit.
He probably.
My ass, man!
He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came round, he got to his feet to climb out of the cage. Just as Dr. Sithe appeared.
Hey, Mr. Assman, could you take a look at this for a second?
Oh yeah, sure. What is?
Oh, you're stabbing me.
If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. It means that she's an active murderer.
Yes.
Yeah, and not a
Accomplice.
Uh-oh.
So actually, Enoch Drebber, you're innocent. You didn't kill him at all.
Not how accomplice
You just
liability
conspired.
works.
Tell that to Manny Memo. He's like, no, she died from the poison. I just stabbed her. Mr. Odie Assman's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Hairbrain. Nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It was you, Dr. Courtney Sithe!
Gah!